Does anyone remember the whole Katyan Massacre thing? I think some people out there might remember that. It's one of those primo examples of the Soviets being tremendously evil people that just went around killing everybody. Well, apparently the European Human Rights Court has declared that Russia, or more specifically, Stalin's regime, had nothing to do with it. And that they were declared that they were not responsible for what happened. They didn't do it. If you're not familiar with that, in the 1940s a bunch of Polish nationals were found murdered. A whole lot of them were found murdered. And it was blamed on the Soviet Union, despite the fact that the Nazis just found them there filled with Nazi bullets. Somehow it's still more believable that the Soviets just went around killing them for whatever reason. Now, in this court, Poland suffered an overwhelming defeat. They were completely obliterated in this court case. It was overwhelmingly in favor of Russia. Now, before people can jump around and start saying that they're just doing it to serve Russia's interests today, I would like to remind you that in November 2011, the lower house of Russia's parliament did officially acknowledge Russia as being responsible for the Katyan Massacre. And previously in 1990, that complete piece of garbage Gorbachev said the NKVD carried it out, and he said that in 1990. However, the actual court believes that they were actually not responsible for it. It must have been all the Nazi bullets in them, and not Soviet bullets in them. But despite the fact that now this court has ruled that Russia is not, that the Katyan Massacre was not carried out by the Soviets, the world's pretty much just going to go on blaming the Soviet Union for it anyway, even though it was the Nazis. This is a very typical right-wing trend, a very typical pro-capitalist trend to just continually going on defending what the Nazis do, or even take things the Nazis did and blame them on the Soviets. A lot like with the so-called Holodomor, where the photos of the massive famine that killed, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 50 million people, whatever the number is now. The photos of it brought forth by a Nazi sympathizer, William Randolph Hearst, that were, a lot of them were actually pictures from the Holocaust, and then fraudulently presented them as proof of a famine in the Ukraine. It doesn't matter. Every court in the world could prove that the Soviet Union did not carry out the Katyan Massacre, and it's still always going to be blamed on the Soviet Union because Gorbachev, a guy who dedicated his life to slandering Stalin so that he could push through more capitalist reforms, could just go around pushing more pro-capitalist garbage. And I, for one, am quite happy that the Soviet Union has been cleared. It's not like official or something. For some reason it just doesn't count, but frankly to me, a court has ruled the Soviet Union did not carry out the Katyan Massacre. It was actually carried out by the Nazis who were occupying the place.